Well guys, I got in at 5:15 this morning. I'm meant to take my daughter to school at like 9:15. I need to get two new parts running that have never run before. I've only got a few hours to do it. What do you think? I've got the Haas. I'm going to do the Haas first. The Haas is on some acrylic. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get lenses running on acrylic. I know all my tooling right. I'll leave it running and then I'll actually do the design on Fusion. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's a 360-degree optic gone with a slightly different direction than what we normally have like this. Now I'm not 100% sure if this is going to work. So that's now been machined, and so it's come out exactly perfect since the drawing, but what I'm concerned about is whether or not this is now too close to the edge and therefore we're going to get too much glare on upwards, or any glare upwards. So I need to have a quick look at that. If we don't, then this is perfect because it avoids us getting as much dirt and stuff like that on the inside of the fitting, because this bit's normally exposed. Right, so there we have it actually sitting on top. Now I like that, I like how it seals off. I like how much little gap it leaves. I think it would be a better seal. You can still see down inside it. But whether or not we get any sideways illumination, we'll see. There you go. So that's it inside this top. You can see you're getting glare from... Well, I mean, the camera's a bit... It doesn't quite reveal the full truth. But there is some upward glare there. Now I have to determine whether or not there would be upward glare there anyway. So I'll go get the old optic. Right, there's the original optic, and honestly there is no difference, so I think we're good to go with this version, which is amazing. Yeah, it's, well, yes, it's working well, it works really nicely either way, and this seals it off better and keeps the dirt out, so great improvement there. Well, so it's going pretty well this morning actually, which is quite nice. It's a different thing from what I was saying yesterday. So it's about, I think it's about 6:30. I don't think it's quite 6:30 yet. So I'm just making breakfast. I'm gonna, sorry, I'm gonna get my foot straight. So I'm gonna have breakfast while I'm running the lathe. So I'm gonna switch back to those 360-degree optics because I'm happy with those. I'm just gonna quickly show you something. I don't know if I've shown much of this before, but this is a new path marker. Basically, Steve from CTS asked us to replicate another fitting, and with the Nakamura we'll be able to make this. This one's bigger, so just to give you an idea of scale, here's my hand. So you can see it is a bit larger. It's 62mm, I believe, in diameter, without checking the specs. Obviously this one's 3 slot. You know, we do it standard as one, and then you can have how many ever slots you want. You know, 4 slot, 5 slot, whatever. So that new 360-degree optic would be absolutely perfect inside this, because it's very low glare, because it uses, so if you look at the back of this actually, so this is another new fitting that we've done, like a deep eyelid, and this is beautiful as well. But see, it's 25mm and the light source is really deep inside, so if I bring you down, you still can't see the light source. Can I get in close enough? Not really, no. You're just about catching it there. So, you know, as you can see, that one really, you know, makes it disappear. Now, I've only done that one in aluminium. I've not done it in stainless steel yet. Brass and copper would be no problem. Stainless steel actually would be no problem. We just haven't costed it, just because the material is going to be quite expensive in that bar size. But it's absolutely doable. So yeah, if you're after something a bit more substantial, there's your answer. So this is the next program that I'm doing. I've already done all the programming for it. It's doing pretty well. 7 AM. So it's basically a spotlight top with a big flange on it. So we're basically going to do that out of this bar here. So that is 63. Now, in an ideal world, so I mean this is actually closer to its size. This is 50.8. It needs to be 52, so I don't have any 52. I should have got something about 53ish, something like that. Essentially, we're remaking this, but we're doing our own version of it. So it's our usual spike back, spike top, with the protection circuit and LED and everything in, so that it fits within this body. So it's going to fit under here with these little hooks that come on under, over, and then that creates a nice little downlight like so. So yeah, so my next bit of fun is just taking out the spindle liner to get the bar in, because the bar's right at the bar capacity really. And then I've got to change, where is it? Somewhere, that one. I've got to change that drill to a U drill. And I think that's, oh no, yeah, U drill and a threading tool down here, and then we're good to go. So yeah, it just takes a little while to get it all set up. It always gets me how big it is. Absolutely massive. I realise how much there is to the setup of this. So we've got the bar in there-ish. I've got to change the jaw. I've got to change the jaws on the chuck. I'm just changing this push rod to the thick one. So basically that goes in here, and then this sleeve comes up this way. That's like the guide sleeve to keep it in place, and helps guide it to keep it as straight as it possibly can without dropping. At least that's the idea. And then you got to get this actually in there. Yeah, I need 2 hands. But you kind of get my point. I've got to adjust these so that, because it's going to be more than 1 bar, it's going to be 2 bars to do these 50 tops. So when it's auto load another bar, so these need to move back. There you go. So there's our unit. There was the existing. So yeah, it's machining out absolutely perfect, and I've managed to beat the clock. I think it's about 8:30 now, so I'm going to leave. I've left it on block delete. I'm happy with it. So it's got to be hand sanded and anodized and powder coated, and it'll be black. So I'll probably throw some pictures in at the end of this video of when that's finished. But yeah, otherwise all good. Thanks guys. Well guys, I didn't get a picture image at the end. Reason being is that by the time we got to lunchtime, we found out that they were all the wrong dimensions. So I must have machined. It was funny actually, because I was saying how well the day was going, and it went quite wrong in the end. We had the tool, the OD turn tool snap, well, the insert snap, and the screw go as well. The parting off insert popped out at the same time. Somehow we're still managing to kind of like machine the parts, but obviously really badly with no inserts and stuff. Kind of damaged a bit of the tool in, and because it's been left running on its own. It happened quite soon after I kind of left it running on its own, which is quite frustrating. And then by the time I got it running again, and what I did is I introduced a roughing tool combined then with a finish tool, 2 separate tools, which helped massively in terms of like making sure that we were going to make sure the inserts were going to last, which I didn't really think was going to be an issue in aluminium, but maybe I was going a bit heavy. Yeah, so I did all that. We got them running. We started knocking out some parts. Joe started getting them anodized. He got a few powder coated, and I could have taken some images of that, and I kind of wish I did. But it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because they couldn't be assembled. A dimension was wrong, and it wasn't wrong from a measurement perspective, it was wrong from a design perspective. So after all of that, I screwed up, and it goes back to essentially the way we do our drawings. So if normally you do a turned or spun piece drawing with it like being like a line drawing, so you kind of do you draw the radius and the half, and like the half of the the part of all the the dimensions, the turns, etc., that kind of thing, and then you revolve it, and it's really then easy to make changes to the dimensions by doing that. Instead, what I've got is I've got a drawing and then extruded, and then a drawing on top of that, and then that's extruded, and a drawing on top of that, and then that's extruded, which is a bit of a problem. Essentially, there was a dimension that I don't really quite still understand what happened there, but the dimension's meant to be 18.8 where an O-ring sits for the lens,
and it was 18.5. Now the weird thing is, you go into the program and you check the drawing and it says 18.8, but you go to an inspect and it was 18.5. In the end, I worked out it was just like, I think basically there was two drawings on top of each other or something like that. So it just goes back to making sure that we make sure we do these drawings in the correct way, and then we wouldn't have had this issue. So it's a shame, but the 360-degree optic went perfectly. I think they've been assembled into stuff, into the fittings. I mean, I did that test fitting and it went in absolutely fine. Max had no complaints or nothing to say about it other than, oh, this is a bit easier. So yeah, I think that one was a success. I did manage to get, we've machined about 35 of those recessed tops so far. We need to machine 50, so the rest of them will get machined on Monday. The bar I showed you at the beginning, I messed up. Turns out I ordered the correct size bar, so something that was about 54 mil. It's 53.8, I think, from the suppliers just around Christmas time. I hadn't checked the package. Literally, it was just there, sitting by the door. I mean, I'm just as guilty as everyone else. No one bothered to open the packages, but me in particular, I suppose. Being I was running late, so I didn't check. I thought that all the bars were 60, 63-ish, whether it is an inch, if it's 2.5 inch, something like that. Yeah, so I basically wasted larger size bar, larger than I needed to, when we had bar that was about the right size. So there's a lot of lessons to be learnt off the back of that. It's running, say the lathe was running well now. I mean, I've stopped it now. I'm not going to leave it running unattended because there was another issue where we had a second bar ready to load in the hydro feed, on the hydro feed, and the machine loaded it, but for some reason loaded it too far forward and then decided to crash the parting off tool into it, which didn't damage the blade. It just pushed the blade, managed to just push the blade out the holder up towards the middle of the turret, which is fine in one respect, but the problem is now is that it's such a big piece of bar, and it was well clamped that everything kind of knocked together, and now the whole turret is off by 1.2 mil. And the weird thing is the lathe did stop, but didn't really error out. What I mean is, it wasn't like going, it stopped, but there was no alarm on, and there was no, and like when you went to go run it again after, it wasn't moaning that, oh, I've had a crash or anything, which I kind of don't really understand. I've tried to contact ETG over to sort of say, well, how can I reset this? Because I've tried the old classic, turn it off and turn it on again, and that's not reset the position. So in the end, I had to manually adjust the positions of the whole axis. Sorry, not the whole axis, each tool to get it to cut right. At the moment, the for instance, the usual, which should be on centre line at like minus 280. Is basically, instead of doing a 16 mil hole, is doing like a 17.2 mil hole or something like that, which obviously again represents that the dimensions are now off. So yeah, it's just frustrating. Anyway, yeah, have a good weekend, and we'll speak to you soon. Thanks, guys.